Introduction to the cell. The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living beings. Every cell, from the smallest to the most complex, works as a miniature autonomous molecular factory. All the necessary activities to keep it alive are carried out phonetically and tirelessly. This is true from the smallest bacterium to any of cells that make up our organisms. Cells are complex and highly organized. This means that they have internal parts in specific positions and act under fine regulation to prevent errors and allow their function to be carried out. Cells possess the ability to replicate by division. In this process is the one that contains a mother. The contents of a mother cells are divided between two daughter cells, whereby the mother cell has replicated the genetic material so that the new cells receive a complete and identical set of the original information. Cells obtain energy. To maintain the cell's high degree of organization and complexity and to sustain its metabolism, the cells need a constant supply of energy. The energy source depends on the organism but may come from the sun's electromagnetic energy or molecules synthesized by other organisms. Cells interact with the environment. They possess various structures on their surface, which act as receptors to which various external agents generate specific responses in the cell.
Cell structure and function. All cells share three basic structural features. The first one is that all cells are independent units formed by a membrane. The function of the plasma membrane is to surround the cell and act like a border with the external environment. This membrane separates the material outside the cell, extracellular, and the material inside the cell, intracellular, and maintains the integrity of the cell and controls the passage of the material in and out the cell. This membrane is usually formed by a double-layer phospholipid molecules. The lipid bilayer allows the cell to isolate itself from the environment and to maintain the concentrations of the different materials in the cell. The diversity of proteins facilitates the transport of molecules in and out the cell and allows to respond to different external signals. The second one is that all cells contain cytoplasm. The membrane encloses the cytoplasm, which is a mixture of a jelly-like fluid and a variety of structures called organelles that are suspended in it. The cytoplasm is the medium of chemical reactions, and it provides a platform upon which other organelles can operate within the cell. All functions of cell expansion, growth, and replication takes place in the cytoplasm. The liquid part of the cytoplasm is called cytosol and consists of water, salt, and other organic molecules. In the cytoplasm is the cytoskeleton, made of protein filaments that supports the cell and allow it to move and to change its shape. The third one is that all cells contain genetic material and begin life with it. DNA in the form of segments called genes stores the information to create new cells and all internal compounds. Depending on the type of cell, the genetic material will be contained in the nucleus or suspended in the cytoplasm.
Prokaryotic cells are the most basic functional unit of unicellular living beings, whose main characteristic that distinguishes them from other types of cells is that they lack a true nucleus. Furthermore, they were the first organisms on the planet, and their name means before the nucleus. Some examples of prokaryotic cells could be Halobacterium salinarum and Escherichia coli. Also, there are two types of prokaryotic cells. Bacteria, for example, pathogenic species, and archaea, for example, methanogenic species. On the other hand, prokaryotic cells can have a wide variety of shapes. For example, in bacteria, there can be bacilli, cocci, and coccobacilli, while in archaea, they can be lobe, round-shaped, irregular, and flat. Finally, the structure of the prokaryotic cell is the following. First, cell wall, which delimits and supports the cell. Second, plasma membrane, which is located under the cell wall. Third, capsule, which helps adhere to surfaces. 4. Ribosomes, that are made up of RNA and proteins. 5. Mesosomes, they can have folds to increase the surface area and therefore efficiency. 6. Flagella, used for locomotion. 7. Cytoplasmid, where the cellular elements are. And 8. DNA, the genetic material.
Eukaryotic cells form the structure of animals, plants, fungi, and protists. They are much more complex and diverse than prokaryotic cells are. They have a nucleus which has genetic material and it's surrounded by a membrane. The nucleus transports or directs protein through RNA and sends it to the cytoplasm. Through the nuclear envelope spores, which regulates proteins and macromolecules. They have different organelles, which are like little divisions on the cell, and each of them has a certain function. One of these organelles is the nucleus. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells have similar features like ribosomes, genetic material, a cytoplasm, and plasma membranes. The human body contains various types of eukaryotic cells, including neurons, intestinal cells, and blood cells. The eukaryotic cells are divided by the mitosis process, in which the cell divides to produce two new cells that are genetically identical to itself. Throughout an organism's life, it replaces old, worn-out cells with new ones. For single-celled eukaryotes like yeast, mitotic divisions are actually like a form of reproduction. The goal of the mitosis is that each cell gets a perfect full set of chromosomes. Cells with too few or too many chromosomes usually don't function well. These are the parts of the eukaryotic cell: the intermediate filament, mitochondria, plasma membrane, microtubule, centrosome, microfilament, lysosome, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, secretory vesicle, peroxisome, vacuole, cytoplasm, Golgi vesicle, Golgi apparatus, chromatin, nucleus, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the ribosomes.
The animal and the plant cells. These two contain many characteristics including the main organs, the cell membrane, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and organelles with and without members. The cell membrane. All cells are surrounded by membranes with a similar basic structure consisting of a lipid bilayer with proteins attached. The fluid mosaic model considers the cell membrane a double layer of compacted fluorescent molecules with various proteins embedded to form a mosaic that have two parts, a polar head and hydrophilic, and a tail of fatty acid that is non-polar and hydrophobic. This is an important difference. The membrane is the outer boundary of all cells. Its function is to separate the cell's interior from its environment and act as a selective barrier that allows oxygen, nutrients, and waste to pass through. The extracellular matrix is a mixture of supporting proteins and polysaccharides that binds and adjusts the cells together. The nucleus. The nucleus houses the DNA. It is interior and consists of three main parts: the nuclear envelope, the chromatin, and the nucleolus. Nuclear envelope is a membrane formed by two lipid bilayers. The granular nuclear substance was named chromatin because of its ability to be colored by the colors used to describe it under the light microscope. The nucleolus is the site of ribosome manufacture and is composed of ribosomal RNA, chromosome sections, proteins, and ribosomes in various synthesis stages. The cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the space between the erythroid material and the plasma membrane. It contains two different types of cell organelles, with and without members. The organelles with members are the endoplasmic reticulum, the vesicles, tiny sac-like organelles from the plasma membrane. The Golgi apparatus is a specialized set of interconnected flattened membrane sacs resemble spliced hotcakes. The vesicles are organelles similar to membranous sacs but more extensive and spiculated. The mitochondria are organelles made from membranes where the outer membrane is smooth, and the inner membrane forms a series of folds called cristae. And the chloroplast. And the organelles without membranes are the ribosomes, are organelles not surrounded by a membrane and consist of two large and small somites. The cytoskeleton is a network of protein fibers spread through the cytoplasm whose function is to support and shape the cell. And the centrioles are structured from a set of microtubules, strongly and silent.